Prime Minister Narendra Modi is heading to Israel at a moment when West Asia is on a razor's edge. The region is witnessing intensifying US-Iran tensions, continuing devastation in Gaza and mounting legal and diplomatic pressure as far as the Israeli Prime Minister is concerned. And there you can see visuals of the Prime Minister departing for Israel for this crucial state visit. In fact, Narendra Modi issued a departure statement ahead of his state visit to Israel, describing Benjamin Netanyahu as a dear friend and calling the India-Israel partnership robust. In fact, Mr. Modi has also said discussions will focus on defense and security, on water management, agriculture, science and technology, trade and investment, and people-to-people ties. The generic language, as far as his departure statement is concerned, is warm. The framing, you must note, is forward-looking, and the emphasis is on resilience, on innovation. But you cannot ignore the fact that this visit unfolds at a time when Israel faces intense global scrutiny. Meanwhile, you also must crucially note that Netanyahu has floated the idea of a hexagon of alliances, positioning India alongside Mediterranean and Gulf partners in a bloc designed to counter Iran. That framing, as you know, carries diplomatic weight. It suggests India is being projected as a pillar in a new regional security architecture, but finer questions and details remain. The question is whether New Delhi intends to occupy that role. There are also hard security realities one cannot ignore. Israel remains one of India's top defense suppliers. A fresh memorandum of understanding was signed just days before this visit, reinforcing joint production and tech transfer as well. So from missile systems to drones to cybersecurity tools, the military relationship is dense and operational. And connectivity ambitions are also another variable, because the India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor that was announced with great fanfare a few years ago, that runs through a geography now destabilized by conflict. So this visit is at the intersection of defense dependency, energy vulnerability, diaspora security, legal scrutiny of Israel as well, and India's historical support for Palestinian statehood as well. Gauri Dwivedi now joins us this morning as the Prime Minister departs for Israel for this crucial visit. Gauri, to begin with, what concrete agreements are expected to be signed during this visit? Take us to the top focus, particularly in defense and joint production. Are we going to see new platforms or upgrades that deepen India's operational dependence on Israel?
So a couple of things that are very important, Parmeshwar, to highlight. First and foremost, this is a visit that comes at a time of great upheaval in the region and globally as well. So to that extent, this visit comes at a time when the entire Middle East region is seeing a lot of upheaval. There are tensions that have been rising in the entire region. Of course, it doesn't impact India directly, but this visit is coming at that particular juncture when the Iran and US tensions have been rising, and Israel directly gets impacted the moment there are any tensions in that region. Second important aspect is this is a visit where, in fact, the departure statement that the Prime Minister also put out, the government put out, very categorically highlights the focus is on two aspects. One is trade. There's a free trade agreement that is likely to be signed up between India and Israel. And the second leg of, and the second piece of this entire visit is going to focus on shared commitments with regard to shared defense and strategic ambitions. And to that extent, trade, defense, technology are essentially going to be the key highlights and key aspects of this visit of the Prime Minister. The fact that he will be the first Indian Prime Minister to be addressing the Israeli Parliament is extremely significant, because both the messaging, the timing, the optics, all of it come together for this visit to be so significant. Remember, there's also going to be an address to the diaspora by the Prime Minister. There's a very large, vibrant, thriving Indian diaspora in Israel, and the message from the Prime Minister. And remember, this has been his long-standing, foreign policy diplomatic initiative all along, which is to engage with the diaspora, commit them to the larger growth ambitions of India. So for him to be addressing the diaspora is going to be significant. In terms of this specific aspects of what the joint statement that was made by the Prime Minister before his departure statement really highlights that even from a technology point of view, remember there are specific areas both in defense and civilian technology where Israel is actually a world leader. And getting those tech aspects ingrained and embedded into India's growth is going to be extremely significant. So in all, these are the three aspects of this visit that is going to be extremely critical, both from a timing, from a messaging, and of course, from a larger takeaway point of view.
Indeed, as Gauri is reporting, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has departed for Israel on a state visit that comes at a fraught geopolitical moment. Meanwhile, Gauri, how is New Delhi navigating the optics of meeting Netanyahu while the International Criminal Court warrants remain in force and there's intense global scrutiny?
See, none of this has happened overnight. The fact that, those international criminal proceedings that are taking place, those are things that haven't happened overnight. So that are not going to likely have a direct bearing as far as this bilateral relationship is concerned. This comes after the last visit the Prime Minister made to Israel was in 2017. Since then, the bilateral relationship itself has been upgraded. It's of great strategic importance. And to that effect, this is going to be more from a bilateral point of view. The takeaways are going to be significant to that extent. Of course, geopolitical aspects are going to matter, but they're not going to weigh in on what the objective of this visit really is. The objective of the visit, where in fact Prime Minister Netanyahu also pointed out, and you mentioned that as well, that the hexagon of allies has India as it. It is because of the India-Israel trade and defense partnership. And I think that is going to be the single biggest piece of it. The India-Israel Free Trade Pact, also coming at a time of great global trade upheaval. So that is going to be extremely significant. In civilian technology, let me tell our viewers that Israel is actually a world leader when it comes to water conservation, ensuring that, agriculture gets cutting edge technology. Those are going to be aspects that are going to be extremely critical in this visit. And the third piece, again, what the Prime Minister's message is to the Israeli parliament, I think that is going to be historic, not just about day to day, not just about today, but the messaging that India, the world's largest democracy, gives to the Israeli parliament. I think that's going to be extremely significant and the larger takeaway of this visit.